Hello buddy, it's Ben Dominator, and today we are going to be talking about Season 5 because it just released yesterday, and I want to give my first impressions on the season so far. So yeah, Season 5 came out yesterday. I've been playing it a ton, and I gotta say, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I can already tell you that it is better than Chapter 1, or Chapter 2 Season 1, Chapter 2 Season 2, and Chapter 2 Season 4. The only one that it's really competing with for me is Chapter 2 Season 3, because I loved Chapter 2 Season 3. So, I don't know. This season so far, right now, I think it's better. But as the season goes on, my opinion could change a little bit. That's why this is a first impressions video. Near the end of the season, or after the season ends, I will be giving you guys a full review of the season, like I'm going to do for Chapter 2 Season 4 here in a little bit. That'll be a video probably later this week, is the full review for Chapter 2 Season 4. But yeah, I just want to give you my first impressions, what I think right now, like a day into the season. So yeah, again, overall, I think it is a really good season so far. I'm very happy. I want to start out by talking about the map, because the map did get quite a few changes, probably the biggest changes we've seen other than like the flood in Season 3. We got a lot of changes here. So basically, the whole middle area is taken over by like a desert. It reminds me a lot of Star Wars, especially with the Mandalorian there. I do really like the desert area. But it's got like these purple rocks around it, which kind of gives it a little bit of a twist. It's not just like your average desert. You got some corrupted stuff. It's like 0-point energy, all that kind of cool stuff. So I'm really happy with like the new biome, because this is kind of like the first new biome we have gotten. I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about that, but technically we did get a whole new biome in this season. And I think it is really cool. I think it flows with the map really well, because it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't feel cluttered. There's a lot of open space, a lot of room to breathe, and I appreciate that a lot, because I feel like near the end of last chapter, Chapter 1, things, when they started bringing back stuff and they started adding new biomes and stuff, it got very cluttered very quickly. The new map is a lot bigger and there's a lot more open room, and then the way they did everything, they got rid of a lot of stuff so that they could add new stuff, and I do really appreciate it. So we got a lot of cool new locations. We got Hunter's Haven, we got Salty Towers, which is probably my favorite location on the map right now. We got the Coliseum, which is also really cool. My main problem with the Coliseum is that you can't break like a lot of the walls around it. Like a lot of it's indestructible, which is kind of weird. Like I feel like it shouldn't be that way, but it kind of is. But it's a fun place to fight. I do really enjoy landing there. It kind of replaced where Stark Industries was and Frenzy Farm before that. Any trace of Stark is completely out of here. I was wondering what they're going to do with that. It just poofed, vanished away, which kind of predicted. No crater, no nothing. I think it would have been cool if we saw a crater there and had like a location in it. Maybe had the Gladiator Dome like in the crater. But actually a few buildings from Frenzy survived, very few. There's like one building which is my favorite that survived, and then some little tiny houses from Frenzy that survived. So I think that was a pretty cool thing, that you can kind of tell Frenzy was there before, and it kind of feels like we went back to the map before any of the Marvel stuff happened, and then they did that, which is interesting because before that building in Frenzy wasn't even there at all, because the Star POI crushed it, and now it looks like it was never there. So I don't know what the storyline is with that. People could make theories about why that is the way it is. But yeah, Hunter's Haven is a really cool spot. I enjoy it a lot. It adds another like looting route when you go from Lazy as well, which I enjoy. And then you also have Salty Towers. You have the little jungle area. I forget what it's called. It's like Sneaky Hideout or whatever. That place is really cool. I haven't explored it a whole lot. Again, not a huge fan of the indestructible barrier, like the walls around it. It's interesting how it's like a very enclosed spot. Like, like, I don't know how it appeared there. I don't know what the storyline is behind it, but it is there. We also got a lot of smaller map changes. We got like the Greasy Grove Diner, the Durr Burger, all that kind of cool stuff returning. We got like the Viking ship over by Holly Hedges. I think it's good map changes. They really fleshed out the map. They really added a lot of little things around the map to kind of make it more interesting, and I think that's really good. I'm really glad they did that. Not everything's open space. You do have little buildings, you have little callbacks to Chapter 1 all around the map, some that I probably haven't even found yet, lots of Easter eggs, lots of fun little things. I really do enjoy all the little touches. I do enjoy everything that they have done with the map. But yeah, Salty Towers is probably my favorite location. Not a huge fan of the name. I feel like they could have called it Tilted Springs. I think that would have sounded better, but I do really like it. It's like a mix between Tilted and Salty, and I was saying one of two things should happen to Salty. I was like, either get rid of it or upgrade it, please, because Salty had like no loot or anything, and it fixed Salty. It made Salty a lot more fun to land. It added a lot more buildings, it added nostalgia to it, and overall it's just super fun. And I was a little scared that they were gonna, like, Salty Towers was gonna be so unbearable that you landed there and immediately died and you couldn't do anything about it. I've landed Salty a handful of times now, and I haven't died as much as I did landing normal Salty, because I can actually get there, I can find a gun, and I can stand on my own for a little bit. In the old Salty, half the time you would be lucky to even get a pistol. But here there's so much loot going around that you're pretty much guaranteed a gun, you're pretty much guaranteed a little bit of mats, and if you're skilled enough against the player you're fighting, you should be able to survive for a little bit longer. And especially if you have teammates, you should be able to survive, regroup with your teammate, and then hopefully clear it all out. It just seems a lot better. And also there's just enough loot to go around where you can be like, hey, your teammate needs ammo. You can give them that ammo because you're actually able to get the loot there. And originally in the normal Salty, I would get maybe some guns, some ammo, but I couldn't spare any because I barely had any landing Salty. Even after killing everyone there, even after having all the combined loot in Salty, sometimes it just wasn't enough. But now it's just expanded, it's a lot better. And yeah, I just don't think there's any named location on the map that doesn't have enough loot anymore. I think everything pretty much has a good amount of loot, so I'm really happy with that. I'm glad they put the Tilted stuff in Salty. I'm glad that they didn't just bring back Tilted, because I felt like that would have been a little bit boring. I feel like I was one of the people who I thought the old map was coming back, but I didn't really want it to happen, because I personally would rather have new stuff than old stuff. And I was worried if they were going to bring back old locations, they would just outright bring them back and we would just be getting old POIs. But no, they actually made them interesting. They combined them with old POIs, and it makes it a lot more interesting. You get the nostalgia factor plus new discovery, and I think that's what the season is all about. You got the nostalgia, bringing back old players, and then you got the discovery of the new skins, the new places, and the new gameplay, and that's what I'm going to talk about next, is the new gameplay stuff. So first, let's talk about the weapon pool. The loot pool is probably not my favorite thing ever about the season. I like that the AK's back. I like a lot of the weapons they brought back. I just don't like that they got rid of a lot of weapons. They got rid of the attack. They got rid of the pump again, which I'm not as angry about as other people are, but I do kind of feel a little bit of a hole for it. In my heart. I do like the charge and attack a lot, but I don't know. The pump is just so much fun. I don't know why they keep having to remove it. I don't mind it that much, but it is kind of a shame that it is gone. But a lot of the loot pool is still really good. They kept a lot of cool stuff too. They kept bouncers, which I'm really glad about, impulses, grapple guns, all that kind of fun stuff that's still in the game. A lot of the new guns they added aren't really that great in my opinion. Like the dragon shotgun is not great. I've only used it a bit because it is kind of really hard to find. But I don't love it, but I do want to try and learn it. I want to use it more. I want to get used to it because I feel like there's some potential in there. I still think the charge is probably the best shotgun in the game right now, though. Alright, so I also want to talk about the whole gold and NPC system. So there's still AI in the game, but they're like shopkeepers now. You got henchmen every so often. They're kind of like Marauders. They just walk around. There's 3 of them. They got a lot of health. They're pretty easy to avoid, though, honestly. Like, I've encountered them, and I've been able to kind of just, like, run away from them. Unlike Marauders, well, they will chase you down. These henchmen don't really chase you that hard. They'll kind of stay in their area, and if you run away from them, if you go far enough, they kind of just give up. So that's good. I don't really mind them that much because they're pretty easy to avoid. I wish they weren't in the game entirely, but it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, you got the golden AI system. So there's these characters in certain locations that you can talk to. You can do bounties, which are really, really good. I'll talk more about that in a second. You can buy weapons. You can buy health back. You can buy like different items from them. They're pretty much little shops, and I think that's really, really cool. I really do like it, and it connects to the Battle Pass more because a lot of them are Battle Pass characters, but then a lot of them are just item shop skins walking around, which is really cool, and I'm sure they're going to add even more and more. And they're not just at named locations. Sometimes they're just in the middle of nowhere, which is really cool. And can't wait to be able to learn where all the AI are and be like, hey, I need this. I know which one to talk to. It's going to be really fun to kind of figure that out. Because right now, everyone's kind of learning this season. Everyone's kind of learning what AI sells what, where they want to drop to get the most effective weapons. And yeah, you can buy some really cool weapons from these guys. You can buy exclusive weapons that are called like unique weapons or whatever. I don't actually remember the exact name of them, but they're pretty much like mythics, but as far as I can tell, they're not nearly as overpowered. There's just kind of buffed versions of existing weapons, which is kind of what mythics started as. So they're no superpowers or anything, which is really, really, really nice. But yeah, but to buy all this stuff, of course, you need gold, and this is where I kind of get iffy and I start to lose what they're going for, because you get gold, but you like keep it over a bunch of rounds, which is strange because there's weapons that you can get that would take you up to like 5 rounds to grind gold for, at least as far as I can tell, and you get like 1,000 gold to buy the single gun that you might just die with immediately. So it's like, was it really worth it? I just don't really know how the whole system works when it comes to the gold carrying over and having to grind multiple games to get one weapon in one game. That's what it seems like to me. I might be wrong about something, I might be missing something, but it just seems kind of odd to me how it is so far. But some guns, like the Dragon Shot gun you can find in Misty, you can buy it for like 97 gold or 100 gold. It seems like the prices change sometimes too, which is really strange. So yeah, I feel like I'm missing something with the whole gold system right now. Hopefully somebody can explain it or something. That would be really cool, but right now I don't really understand how it works fully, but I am glad it is in the game. I'm happy with what they're doing with the NPCs. I think it makes rounds a lot more interesting, especially bounties make rounds so much more interesting. So yeah, previously with the mythic locations, they kind of caused a problem in which a lot of people would die off the bat, and then you would be running around and there wouldn't be a lot of people, and players would die way too quickly. Well, now we have bounties which solve that problem, because they make mid-game a lot more fun. If you claim a bounty, which I recommend claiming a bounty whenever you can, you will have a blast, because it shows up right where they are on the mini-map. It gives you an area of where they are. You track them down, and normally, like, you're doing this during the middle of the game, you've already kind of survived the location that you landed at, you're gearing up, and you're grabbing your first bounty, running off to fight that bounty, and grabbing materials and stuff on the way, and then you know exactly where to find a fight. You can always know, hey, you're with your team, I'm gonna grab a bounty, there's a team over here, we know exactly where they are, we're gonna go fight them. And it makes the mid-game so much more fun because you actually have a clear goal. During the mid-game, you have something to do other than just run around and wait for a fight to happen. You know exactly where to go to find a fight. Whether you win or lose that fight, it's just still really fun to go track down somebody and fight them. And that also makes more interesting when you're being hunted, because it gives you some suspense and makes sure your team is alert and you're always looking around, you're always having a good time. So I love the bounty system. I really do hope it stays next season, because I think it really does solve the mid-game crisis that Fortnite has been having. pretty much its whole life, but they made it worse through things like mythic locations and stuff. I love it because it just finally gives you something to do during the mid game. I think it's probably the best addition that they did this season, and yeah, I'm super duper happy with how they handled it. Alright, so I think the last thing I kind of want to talk about here is cosmetics. We have really the battle pass right now for cosmetics. There might be a new skin in the shop tonight, I'm not sure, but the cosmetics this season are pretty good. They didn't really do a lot to innovate with cosmetics this season, at least so far in the battle pass. They did a lot of innovating last season, some not so good, some pretty good, but honestly, I'm just glad that a lot of the battle pass skins look really good. The whole battle pass is pretty great. Not my favorite this chapter, but I do think it is really, really good. And yeah, I'm happy with all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of exciting skins on the way. And yeah, I'm just happy with the cosmetics as well. Fortnite always nails it out of the park with cosmetics. Alright, so guys, that's about going to do it for this video. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share your opinion in the comment section below. What do you guys think of the season so far? I would love to know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.